Let's learn how to make the nose. Start with a foundation chain of 5 stitches. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. The new stitch technique used is DC 3-in-1. Please watch the demonstration. Take the corresponding yarn. First, chain 5. Then, starting from the second to last stitch, pick up one strand on the top of the chain. Work one single crochet in each stitch. 2 half double crochets. The last one is 7 half double crochets in the chain. Crochet while rotating. Next, pick up the other 2 strands of the chain, that is, crochet at the insertion point of this side stitch pattern. Pay attention not to insert into the same position as these 7 stitches. Work 2 half double crochets in sequence. One single crochet increase. Finally, join with the first stitch using a slip stitch. This completes the first round. Next, crochet the second round. Make one beginning chain. Follow the pattern chart until before the SC 3-in-1. Now we're at this position. SC 3-in-1 means 3 single crochets in the same stitch. This completes the SC 3-in-1. Next, work one single crochet increase on the left stitch. Crochet 1 SC 3-in-1 in the next stitch. The following stitch patterns have been demonstrated before. Just crochet according to the pattern chart. This completes the second round. 2 rounds remaining. The previous stitch patterns have been demonstrated. Just follow the pattern chart. Finish with one chain stitch to secure. Leave a yarn tail for sewing. Next, take another yarn. Thread the needle. Embroider a Y shape on the right side of the fabric. Start by leaving a bit of tail. Note that the Y is on the side with slip stitch marks. Finally, weave in the ends on the wrong side. This completes the crochet method for the nose. Crochet the remaining quantity of noses, set aside for later use. Next, learn the remaining parts. Ears, eyes and orange. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Eyes are crocheted using the yarn over chain stitch method. First, I'll demonstrate the ears. Please watch the demonstration. Take the corresponding yarn. First, begin with an adjustable magic ring. After casting on, crochet 6 single crochets in the magic ring loop. Once completed, pull tight the starting tail. Tighten the center of the piece. Finally, join with the first stitch using a slip stitch. This completes the first round. Now let's crochet the second round. Make one beginning chain. This round is to make a single crochet increase in each stitch of the previous round. Finally, join with a slip stitch. This completes the second round. For the following rounds, no new stitch techniques are used. Just follow the pattern chart to complete crocheting. Leave a yarn tail for sewing at the end. That's the crocheting method for the ears. Follow the previous method. Refer to the chart to complete the remaining quantity of ears. For the orange, follow the same starting chain method as the ears. Refer to the chart. Crochet until there are 2 rounds left. Stuff with a small amount of fiber fill. After completing, crochet the remaining rounds. Once the final round is completed, leave a 30 cm yarn tail to close the opening. The swatch has a small number of stitches, only demonstrating the method. Thread the needle. Pick up the front loop of each stitch in sequence. Gently tighten slightly. Secure the tail. Then thread the tail to the side. Set aside for now. Everyone complete the remaining quantity of oranges. Now let's crochet the eyes. Crochet using the chain stitch with yarn held in hand. Start by leaving a yarn tail of about 20 cm. Hold the yarn with left hand. Hold the hook with right hand. The hook is below the yarn. Wrap it around like this. The yarn forms a crossing shape here. Place the hook above the yarn. Begin crocheting chain stitches with yarn held in hand. Bring the lower strand from front to back. Place it over the hook. Make a chain stitch. This completes one stitch. Continue. Place from front to back over the hook and make one chain stitch. This is the second stitch. We'll make 2 stitches in total. Secure the end with a chain stitch. That's the crocheting method for the eyes explained. Repeat this process. Finish the remaining quantity of eyes. Now let's assemble. First take the fabric piece needed for the ear cover. Just take one piece. You can use a pet brush from home for the fluff on the ear cover. Lightly brush the fluff. Skip this step if you don't have one. Place the fabric piece on the front body of the ear cover to check the position. If you have pins at home, you can secure it with pins. If not, use thread to secure it. Check the position. If it fits properly, just as long as you're satisfied. First, sew the ears. First, press the ears flat and secure with a few stitches. Then sew them onto the ear cover. There's no specific sewing technique required, just make sure it's securely sewn. Finally, tie off and weave in the ends. Everyone sew the other side as well. Next, take out the orange. Sew it next to the rod. Sew it upright like this. Sew a few random stitches, just enough so it doesn't fall off. Position the closing method facing downward. Next, take out the nose. Pay attention to the Y direction when sewing. So while adding a small amount of stuffing, add a small amount of fiberfill while sewing. Check while sewing to see if it's sewn crooked. Adjust immediately if sewn crooked. Finally, take out the eyes and stick them above the nose. Hide excess yarn tails inside the fabric. After completing, sew the other ear flap position as well. Then take out the non-woven fabric. Cut the non-woven fabric according to the paper pattern. Attach the leaves to the orange. That's all for the ear flaps. After completing the ear flaps, next, let's learn how to make gloves. Divided into Section 1, Section 2, Chain. Eyes, nose and ears. First learn Section 1 and Section 2. Section 1 uses foundation chain method. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Crochet method is identical to the first round of the front body. Remaining rounds are worked evenly. Just follow the pattern chart. Note that Section 1 has fewer stitches. You can mark each stitch. Note that I'm using the wrong side of Section 1 as the right side of the fabric. Now let's crochet Section 2. Using foundation chain method, crochet in rounds counterclockwise along the starting chain. Need to connect Section 1 during the process. Please watch the demonstration. Take the corresponding yarn. First chain 5 stitches. Pay attention to marking. Then begin from the second to last stitch. Crochet 3 single crochets in sequence. Since the first round has fewer stitches, you can place stitch markers on each stitch. The stitch marker at the starting point remains in place for now. Crochet 1 single crochet on this last chain, 3 SC in 1, that is, crochet 3 single crochets in the same place. This completes the 3 SC in 1. Rotate the piece. Pick up the other 2 strands of the chain, and crochet 2 single crochets in sequence. This is the insertion point for the single crochets on this side. Pay attention not to insert into the placement of these 3 single crochets. While crocheting, remove the stitch marker at the starting point. Finally, crochet 1 single crochet increase. Complete. Join with the first stitch using a slip stitch. The first round is complete. Rounds 2 through 12 do not use new stitch techniques. Just follow the pattern chart to crochet. Pay attention to marking and check the number of stitches. Now crochet round 13. First crochet according to the pattern chart until before the red marked section. Complete. The next 2 stitches need to connect with the 2 stitches in section 1. Insert the hook into the stitch on the left side of section 2. Then insert into the first stitch of section 1. Insert from outside to inside. Crochet 1 single crochet together. You can place a stitch marker on this single crochet to mark it. Complete. Insert the hook into the stitch on the left side of section 2. Then insert into the last stitch of section 1. Crochet 1 single crochet together. This completes the red marked stitch pattern. Then crochet the remaining stitches of section 2. Finish with a slip stitch join. This completes round 13 and connects well with section 1. Next, crochet round 14. Follow the chart. First crochet on the stitches of section 2. Complete. Leave the 2 joined stitches unworked. Pick up and crochet the remaining stitches of section 1. Remove the stitch marker from the first stitch of section 1. Start from the second stitch. Work from inside to outside. Remove the stitch marker from the last stitch of section 1. Finally, pick up and crochet the remaining stitches of section 2. This completes round 14. For the following rounds, no new stitch techniques are used. Just follow the chart all the way to the end of round 23. As you crochet, if you can't tell them apart, mark them in time. My round count isn't for reference. After completing round 23, crochet 1 chain stitch to secure at the end, leave a 5 cm tail and cut the yarn. Take new yarn to crochet round 24. Insert the hook into the first stitch position. Make a slip knot with the yarn. Place it on the hook. Pull the yarn through. Then follow the chart to complete the remaining rounds. Remember to place stitch markers for marking.